I know how this is going to sound. I've read the posts, I've seen the videos. I know the backrooms started as a meme, a creepypasta, something people invented on the internet to scare each other. I believe that too. I believed it until March of last year. My name is Ryan. I'm 28 years old. I work in commercial real estate, which means I spend a lot of time inside empty buildings, office complexes, warehouses, old retail spaces, buildings between tenants, between lives, places that used to be full of people and now aren't. I've been inside hundreds of them. Only one of them was wrong. The property was a former call center in suburban Ohio. 3 floors, approximately 40,000 square feet, vacant for about 2 years. My firm was hired to assess it for a potential buyer. Check the bones, document the condition, take measurements. Standard job. I'd done it 100 times. I went alone because my partner was sick and the job seemed straightforward. Tuesday morning, overcast. The building manager met me at the front entrance, gave me the key card, told me the freight elevator worked, but the main elevators were off and left, said he'd be back in 2 hours. The first floor was fine, rows of empty cubicle frames, carpet tiles in varying states, fluorescent lights that flickered in sequence as I walked beneath them. Standard abandoned office. It smells a specific way. Old coffee and static, and something synthetic that never quite leaves carpeted spaces. I know that smell well. I documented everything, took my measurements, moved on. Second floor, same. Maybe 45 minutes of work. Nothing notable. Third floor is where it went wrong. I took the freight elevator up. The doors opened onto a corridor I didn't expect. Narrower than the floors below, lower ceiling, different carpet, yellow, not office yellow. A specific yellow that I can only describe as the color of a room that has never had natural light. Slightly too bright, slightly too even. I checked my building plans. The third floor should have had the same open floor plan as the floors below. A large central space with perimeter offices. The corridor in front of me was maybe 6 feet wide and ran straight ahead further than the lighting should have allowed me to see. I figured the plans were wrong. Old building, possible renovation I wasn't briefed on. It happens. I started walking. The sound was the first thing I noticed. In empty buildings, there's always ambient noise, HVAC systems, distant traffic, the building settling, white noise. Here there was something underneath all of that, a low, continuous hum. Not mechanical, not quite. The frequency of it sat at the edge of what you can hear, but inside what you can feel. I was aware of it in my chest before I was aware of it in my ears. I kept walking. The corridor branched, left and right, both identical. Same yellow carpet, same low ceiling, same fluorescent hum. My floor plan showed no interior walls on this floor at all. I took out my phone to use the compass and get my bearings. No signal, which wasn't unusual for a concrete building. But the compass was spinning. I'd seen that once before, in a building with serious electrical issues. I made a note and kept going. I went left, documented the corridor, measured the width, noted the discrepancy with the plans. Turned a corner. Another corridor. Identical. I turned around and went back the way I came. Turned right at the original junction this time. Another corridor. Identical. I walked for what I estimated was about 4 minutes before I understood something was wrong with my sense of distance. The building was 40,000 square feet across 3 floors. I should have hit an exterior wall by now. I should have hit something. I stopped and listened. The hum was louder. I took out my phone to call the building manager. No service, which I expected, but the time on my phone read 11:47 a.m. I had entered the building at 9:15. I had spent maybe 90 minutes on floors 1 and 2. That left roughly 30 minutes unaccounted for. I had been in this corridor for 30 minutes without realizing it. I turned around and walked back the way I came, or the way I believed I came. The corridors were identical in every direction. Same carpet, same ceiling height, same evenly spaced fluorescent panels. I had not thought to mark my path because the building should have been simple. I had not needed to mark a path in this kind of job before. I picked a direction and walked. 6 minutes, 7, 8, no elevator, no stairs, no exterior wall. I am not a person who panics. I want to be clear about that. I've been in difficult situations in my work, unsafe structures, aggressive tenants, spaces that required careful navigation. I'm trained to stay calm. I was not calm. I sat down on the yellow carpet in the middle of a corridor and made myself breathe for 60 seconds. I looked at my phone. 11:52 a.m. I turned off the screen to conserve battery. I sat in the hum and thought. I thought about what I knew. I was on the 3rd floor of a building in suburban Ohio. There was one freight elevator and one stairwell, both of which I had accessed from floor 2. There were no other ways in or out. The building had exterior walls. The building was finite. I was in a finite space, and I could not find its edge. I got up and walked. I chose a direction and committed to it, marking the wall every 10 feet with my pen, a small horizontal line, so I could tell if I was going in circles. I walked for 23 marks before I found the stairwell door. No explanation for where it had been or why I'd missed it. It was there, exactly where a stairwell door should be, in a wall that should have been exterior. I went through it and down 2 flights without stopping and out the front door of the building into the grey Ohio morning. The building manager was standing by his car in the parking lot. He looked at his watch and then at me. "You're early," he said. "Thought you'd need the full 2 hours." I looked at my phone. It read 11:58 a.m., not quite 2 hours since I'd entered, but I had spent what felt like 30 minutes just in that corridor, plus another 20 minutes marked by the pen on the wall. That was 50 minutes that should not fit inside the time that had passed. I did not tell the building manager what happened upstairs. I filed my assessment report without mentioning the 3rd floor layout discrepancy beyond a single note that said, "Plans may not reflect current interior configuration." I went back to the property one more time, 2 weeks later, with a colleague. I did not tell her why I wanted to revisit it. We went up to the 3rd floor together. Open floor plan. No interior walls, no corridors. Yellow carpet, yes, of the same yellow. But the space was exactly what the plan showed. A large open area, perimeter offices, exterior windows along 2 sides. My colleague looked at the space and said, "Easy job, nothing to note." I stood at the center of the open floor and looked at the exterior windows and thought about 43 pen marks on walls that weren't there. I have one photograph from that first visit. I took it out of habit early in the corridor, the way I photograph everything in these assessments. It shows a hallway, yellow carpet, low ceiling, fluorescent lights in a row, getting smaller with distance. The hallway in the photograph is longer than the building is wide. I have measured this 3 times. The building is 210 feet at its longest point. The hallway in the photograph, measured against the ceiling panel spacing, which I can calculate from the standard tile size, is at minimum 380 feet long. I want to tell you about the 3rd time, because there was a 3rd time and it wasn't a building I chose to enter. 8 months after Ohio, I was driving back from a site visit in rural Indiana. Late afternoon, around 5. Long straight road through flat farmland. The kind of drive where every mile looks identical to the last. I had my GPS running. I had a full tank of gas. Somewhere between mile marker 44 and what should have been mile marker 45, the road changed. Not dramatically, not in a way that would make you slam the brakes. The asphalt was the same. The flat land on both sides was the same, but the light was different. The specific flat grey of a late Indiana afternoon became something else. Slightly yellower, slightly more even. The way light looks inside a room rather than outside one. I noticed it the way you notice something in your peripheral vision. Not directly, just a shift. I looked at my GPS, no signal, spinning. I looked at my phone, no service. I looked at the road ahead. It was straight. It had been straight for 40 miles, but something about the straightness was wrong now. The vanishing point where the road met the horizon was too far. The way the road narrowed in the distance didn't match how roads narrow in flat open country. It was narrowing too slowly, like the distance was larger than the space should allow. I pulled over and stopped the car. I sat for a moment listening. The hum was there, faint under everything, in my chest before my ears, the same frequency as Ohio. I put the car in reverse and drove backward for approximately half a mile without turning around. I kept my eyes on the road behind me in the rearview mirror, and I did not look at what was ahead. At some point, the light changed back. The yellow quality left, the grey afternoon returned. My GPS reconnected immediately. It showed me exactly where I was, on a county road in Indiana, exactly where I should have been. I looked in the rearview mirror at the road behind me. It looked like a road. I looked through the windshield at the road ahead. It looked like a road too. Normal. Finite. The horizon exactly where a horizon should be. I drove home without stopping. I've thought about what would have happened if I'd kept driving forward instead of reversing. If I'd stayed on that road to see where it went. I think about the pen marks on walls that weren't there. I think about a hallway 380 feet long, inside a building 210 feet wide. I think about the hum. I don't have an explanation. I work in real estate. I am a practical person by training and by temperament. I believe in floor plans and load-bearing walls and the finite measurable dimensions of physical space. I don't show people this photograph. I don't talk about what happened in that building. I've been in maybe 60 empty buildings since then. I check the carpet color before I go above the first floor now. Yellow carpet. I don't go up. I don't care how straightforward the job seems. I don't go up.